I'm James Elden.
And I'm Abby Relic.
And this is...
Most Compatible? Question mark.
Here we are.
I'm trying to different all the time.
That's how it should be.
I know.
No point in being...
straightforward.
Well, straightforward I think is good. I think it's just like kind of being, conforming, or it's always like...
Oh, yeah, not the same.
Not
the
to
same
say
is
that,
never good.
Yeah, not to say that consistency isn't a bad thing. So, on that episode, welcome to this episode of Most Compatible. We're talking about red flags. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment down below, and share this channel with a friend. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, be sure to leave a 5-star review and subscribe to the channel. All that set aside.
Nice.
Thanks. Red flags.
Red flagos. That's what I wrote down. I wrote, everyone has red flagos.
Yeah, we do.
Every single person has a red flag.
I think this is the one thing that I think is going to be different about this one is I think that for women, there's going to be more red flags than there are for men. That's just me. That's me. I think that we're a little more open to kind of deal with things, but I think it also might depend on what we're looking for.
Oh, this is a good point. Yeah, like men are more open to dealing with women, their red flags, than we are with you guys. It's possible.
Yes, but not so much that. I think that there is a little bit more... You have to be a little bit more protective and cautious.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm not...
Oh, like women, like we have to look at you guys as red flags a little bit closer.
A little bit. For safety purposes.
I see. Oh, yeah.
So that's where I'm coming at in that regard. So, is there one with this, like, without a doubt, this is my most prominent red flag, and as soon as I see this,
Yes.
Yeah. What is it?
Are we ever gonna meet? Question mark. But that's in the chats. That's my main red flag is, are we ever gonna meet? Like when they're a baby.
Is it the phrasing?
Yeah, it's all of it. It's the phrasing, it's the sentiment, it's the fact that you can't just be okay.
But this goes back to previous episodes where I'm like, that's my go-to. That's one of the first things I say. Like when are you free to meet up?
That's different than are we ever going to meet?
So again, phrasing.
It's the phrasing. Oh yeah, that's a good. Oh yes,
okay.
Totally.
Great.
Do you want to meet up? Fine.
Great.
Are we ever going to meet? Question mark with this my favorite emoji and is like okay, goodbye.
Okay.
Always I'm done. Right. Always.
And do you just end the conversation?
That's when I ghost them. I'm out.
Oh, look at that.
I don't even want to deal with it.
Where was that in episode 2?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where my brain was.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. How
about you? Do you have one?
Do I have one? I suppose that my red flag is just, or we're just like, there's no point, and that's anything that states your Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, OnlyFans handle.
Then you're done.
There's no point because you know what this is about. It says you're not looking for anything but followers,
right?
And there's no point in that regard after that. I know what your MO is, and I just don't think that there's any point. Will I still swipe right? I mean, maybe if it's just to kind of see, like maybe, It's funny because I went ahead and swiped right, and this is going back to a past episode, by the way. So you have to go back to the Tinder episode. I actually swiped right on Trouble.
Oh, you did? Good. I would have done that.
And it was a match.
It was a match? Nice.
Yeah. And I basically said, hey, I had to find out what the trouble was all about.
Yeah, totally. Which is why she's not dumb.
No, but had nothing, no response, never response. Later on an unmatch. But it was basically for the OnlyFans page.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you were right.
Which I have not subscribed to yet.
Sorry, Trouble.
Not yet.
She keeps
I'm not saying it's
popping
out.
up.
Yeah, well, she's trouble.
She's the best.
So that's my. I think that's the big one because I know that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, totally.
But I will swipe right just to play and you see what the rest of the MO is.
Right.
So
makes sense.
So that's the big one for me. I would say one pick and no bio. Yeah, it's somewhat a red flag because again, I know it's not going anywhere.
Right.
There's some agenda. To me, there's some agenda with a profile like that.
Right. What about when you actually start talking to people? Or I guess if you don't talk to them for very long.
100%. I will tell you what that red flag is, at least for me.
Uh-huh.
And that is, it's a one-sided conversation, or there's no return.
Right.
It's just like this, it's only about what they do, but they don't return the question.
Right. They're not having a conversation.
There's no interest in you.
Oh, interesting.
So I would say that and I'm not one who's going to say, oh, well, look, I'm not going to offer it until you inquire.
Oh, that's an interesting thing.
So that's where I come from in that regard.
Huh.
Yeah. So
I think dudes do that less. I think they do less of the talking about themselves. Actually, some of them did. Now that I'm thinking back, some of them would talk about themselves a lot. So that was maybe.
Well, I'm not saying you don't talk about it yourself.
Right.
I'm one that, I want you to inquire.
Right.
I want you to be curious. And if you're not curious about who I am or what I do, and I'm not saying what I do, especially because I think that is a little bit of a red flag for me, where it's like, if you're just interested in like what I do for a living,
right,
then I'm a little concerned.
Oh, okay. If they're pushing it hard, or if they're just like, hey, what do you do?
Yes. Or when it's just like, again, when I was in hospitality, I was bartending.
Oh.
When it was like,
so you were hiding your red flag.
I don't think that...
It wasn't a red flag, okay?
But for some women, it was.
Ah, makes sense. That would not be a match. Makes sense.
But it should... does that warrant not being a match? Because you're a bartender.
Right. So if the other person... I see what you're saying. If they're already turned off by the fact that you're a bartender, that's a red flag for you because it means they're not a match.
It means that I'm a red flag for them.
Totally.
Yeah. And so, to me, it shouldn't be. And but if that's what is important to you, that it,
right.
Again, I think it's I don't know if it's a hierarchical aspect. It's like, it's
yeah. I get it. I know.
And we've talked about this in past episodes, so there's we don't need to unpack that anymore by any means.
I get it.
Another one for me, because I've discovered this, I've run across a lot of profiles, and it's some kind of a scam, and it's usually not a real person to begin with, and that's hidden messages / emails in the pics.
Oh,
where I found maybe they're wearing a sweatshirt, and in a circle is their email address that you just may glance over.
Oh, I don't think I have ever seen that.
Because I don't think guys are.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So I've had a couple times where it's like that, and so I've reached out, and then again, the conversation kind of starts, and it gets weird. There's just I don't know if it's because of an investment thing, but it's usually you ask for pics.
Right.
And they can never give you a current one.
Right.
In that, it's daytime in this pic, or it's nighttime in this pic, and it's daytime right now, so this is not a current pic.
Right.
So that's definitely a red flag. And I don't usually I don't stay engaged long enough to find out where it's going.
Yeah. That's an immediate red flag.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So then what about red flags when you get more into the talking stage, when you're chatting, or when you move into phone calls and texting, or maybe the first date? What are...
I would say in texting, it's when you have to force the conversation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If it's just kind of like waiting, and it's just like, you're not asking anything. And it's
Right.
maybe the answer's short.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah.
it's like to me, conversation shouldn't be that much of an effort in the beginning.
No, but some people aren't good at texting. But there's a difference. I get it.
I just don't think you're going to get much of a personality
Yeah.
in.
Have you ever met one of these people in person? I know it's hard to think.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Yeah.
No, I just there's no point. I don't,
Right.
and I got hence the red flag. It's like, why am I going to pursue this? If this is how it is in texting, what's it going to be like in real person,
Right.
in real life, or in person, I should say. So, I would say in incoherent non sequiturs in conversation.
What does that mean?
It means usually it's a bot.
Oh, what is a non sequitur?
If I ask you something and then you go to something that's like, what do you have planned for this weekend?
Oh, okay.
And the answer is,
I see.
has nothing to do with the question that I
I
just
see.
asked. I'm
Okay.
like, what?
These are your signs for the bots.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, that's a different kind of red flag. It's not a red flag against a person. It's a red flag against an account and a profile, because you know
Right.
it's not a legitimate person.
Right. Okay. These are good.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, these are things that I think guys have to deal with.
Right. You guys have more of the scams. We have
Then what do you have?
we have more I would say, like, I don't know how to word this. Men trying to manipulate it so that they get your attention. That's what we have to look out for. More like, do you really mean what you say? Or are you just saying this to get something out of me, or to, because they're like, they want to get the date, they want to get the conversation, they want to like meet you, they want to like get into your panties, like really. So it's more like, you kind of look for like fakeness. Like, are you being genuine, or are you just trying to get what you want?
Can you think of an example of that off the top of your head, that of an experience of, and again, it might have been a while, so I'm like, it's kind of putting you on the spot in that regard, but or in a general
I can
example.
do a very good general.
Great. Let's hear it.
You just started texting. You get good morning texts every single morning. This is my opinion, right? So I don't really know you yet. We're just getting to know each other. But every morning you give me good morning text or good night text, or there's a lot of texting without knowing each other very well. I can explain that more. I have a job. I'm not going to be texting you all day, every day. If you're texting me all day, every day, and you either don't have a job, which is, I would find out more why, but probably not going to be a good thing, or you really want to make sure that you like have my attention and that I feel special, so that you have me and you get what you want.
Is that a possibility that is a bot for you?
I don't think it's a bot, because this usually happens when, oh no, I don't know.
Because
I don't know. I don't think so, but it's possible.
I would say, and that worries me as well, when either it's a bot or it's a fake account, where all of a sudden it's like, hey, how's your day going? Whatever. And then all of a sudden you send me a picture of what you're going to eat, what you're eating, where you're at right now. I'm like,
oh,
that's kind of a non sequitur as well. It's like, I don't know. I think it's forced, or it's just, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't tend to worry about the bots very much, because eventually I'm going to find out if they're real or not. And I'm not giving anyone my information. So I'm like, it's okay. Usually I think if they send me something generic, I'm like, oh yeah, this is his game. This is how he does it. He sets it up like this. He does good morning. Then he's got the picture, and he probably sent it to like 10 other people, which is fine. But, he's just throwing his net out there.
Okay.
He, as in a dude that would do that. What else?
Do you have red flags that you guys
Yes.
have out there? If you do, leave a comment down below, or send us an email. I'd love to hear these stories as well. mostcompatiblepodcast@gmail.com. So
I love red flags because my friends have different red flags than I do, right? So it's
do you know what some of your friends' red flags are?
yeah. I mean, some of them it's like when the guy kind of like when he's been texting them a lot consistently and then all of a sudden disappears, which makes sense. That would be, I typically, that was always, it would do something or cause like a concern. I'd be like, what happened? But it wouldn't be a red flag for me. It would be a red flag for them.
Well, I mean, can that be something as simple as that they're in a more serious conversation with somebody else?
Totally. It can be I have no idea what's going on their end.
Right.
And in my experience, a lot of different things can happen on their end. So that wouldn't be a red flag for me, but for some of my friends, I think that was a red flag. Another red flag was if they did not, and I don't know that it's going to be a red flag, but if they didn't text every day, good morning from the beginning, because it would show them like they're not really interested. So it's, red flags are different.
So for you, it's too much engagement. For your friends, it might be too much or lack of engagement.
Yeah. And that's at the beginning. If we are chatting and then we move to phone talking, you're still a stranger to me. I don't really know you, and I don't owe you anything, and you don't owe me anything. It's literally just getting to know each other and seeing if you want to take it to the next step.
All right. Okay. I would say that another one is, again, and it's kind of come up, I guess future plans isn't so bad, but as soon as it gets into like retirement, future, investments.
Time out. Wait, are they asking you about your retirement investments or telling you about theirs?
No, they're inquiring.
Yeah, okay.
But again, and I hate not to harp on this, and this might as well be it's not a red flag episode, it's a freaking bot episode, because that's what it usually is. It's usually a bot who's trying to get you to invest in something.
This is the bot episode. Whoa, okay.
I think guys have our red flags are bots.
Yeah, basically, all women are perfect. The only bad ones are bots. And
sometimes I think that's true.
I'm just kidding. Oh my God.
The one that
that's gonna take me a minute.
The one that this is one, and I don't think we necessarily have to unpack this by any means, but for me, it's a red flag. If you are adamant about swipe left if you are this.
That is one of my red flags. When they have a need that they're like, do not pick me if you're going to do this. That's red flag.
Or
Goodbye.
You believe in this.
Right.
It's just like if the fact that you can't have an open mind about anything and you're so staunch about this, that's a red flag. You've got issues, and there's it means that even if we disagreed with something, the conversation's already over.
Yes.
You're not open to having a conversation about anything.
This is a very good point. It does. It means you are set in your ways. You don't want, there's no other possibilities because life is black and white. Right? I swear that was a red flag for me too. For sure.
And it's sad and it's such a turnoff.
Yes.
It's just because you think that it's not even so much that it's like you're right no matter what,
right.
And I've got my beliefs are set and they're correct.
Right. I have another good one. If we're talking like profiles, red flag for me is when they say on their profile that they go to therapy. Done.
I'm
Yes.
not saying I would say that's not a bad thing.
No, therapy's not bad.
That they have to announce it.
That it's not a bad thing that they have to announce it?
that they're announcing it.
That's why it's a red flag, because they're putting on their profile, I go to therapy, meaning you think you're doing everything right, or you're trying to trick me into getting, like, you're trying to get the date, so you think I want to hear that you go to therapy. I don't want to hear that you go to therapy. I want you to go to therapy if you need to go to therapy. I don't want to fucking hear about it, especially on your chat. So, or on your profile. Yeah.
All right.
So that's
sure. No, that's just yeah. I would say another one for me is I don't think it's intriguing. I mean, there's intrigue behind it, but if you have a profile and all your pics, your face is hidden because you're taking a mirror selfie, you're doing this, but
that's a red flag.
I think that you're looking for something, and usually it's, I don't know, maybe it's a working person.
Maybe.
I don't know. You're either hiding something or you're selling something.
Oh, I see. Oh, wow. I didn't get a lot of these.
Well, again, because I think it's different. I think that there, again, it goes back to last episode. There's different strategies.
Right.
What's your strategy? And I think it depends on what you're trying to do. And again, I think because we're a little more on the straightforward page as far as like looking for relationships or something like that, we don't have an agenda. I think those are profiles that have an agenda that you're trying to achieve something. And so I think that that's kind of where that's at.
Yeah, that's good.
So that's why I'm a little concerned about that, because I think that you have an MO. You have something that you're trying to achieve.
Right.
And it's not legit and it's not honest.
It's not about dating. It's about doing something
exactly.
else. Yeah, I see. I get it.
I mean, it could be just about sex, and if that's what it's about, then
that's
more
what
power
girls
to
watch
you.
out for with the dudes. But
they're not hiding. I think they're more flaunting than anything. But it's like if you're in distant pics where everything's from a distance and there's nothing, I can't see I can't see your face. I can't see. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little concerning to me as well.
Interesting.
So
what else?
This is, I don't know if this is a red flag. It's kind of more of a turnoff than it is anything. And I don't know if turnoffs and red flags are the same thing, but
I don't know.
Bad grammar for me.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
It just, and I'm not saying that you have to be educated, but at least somewhat intelligent.
Like, it's okay to make a mistake, but when it's like bad grammar, I get it.
So that's where I get a little like,
What about on the date?
Lack of engagement, no eye contact.
No eye contact? Is that for real?
I mean, maybe. I mean, like if you're just, I don't.
Oh, wow. Okay, wait, I did hear some stories from the dudes. Yeah, it was like the girl would be like super hungover. It was like basically like a zombie. But I don't mean like hungover. I've been hungover on a date, and you can still kind of like hide it, But this one guy said this girl was like, it was like she was like falling asleep. Like on the date, basically.
Oh.
So that would be a red flag, probably.
Yeah, I would say so.
That'd be like, there's probably some heavy drug use there.
I would say phone. Checking your phone.
Oh, that's a good one. Checking your phone is a good one.
If we're out and you're checking your phone, or like even texting.
Right.
I think the phone should be like away. I think it should be like put away. It shouldn't. I don't think it should come out.
Right. So I will add to this though, because there is none of it wasn't bad. A lot of times it was like the dude he'd be checking his phone, but he'd be telling me what he was doing. Like he wasn't doing it in like a sly way. He was like working, or you know what I mean? Like something happened and he was like, wait, I got to do this real quick. Sorry. Like, yeah. It happened quite a bit.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That didn't bother me at all.
Really?
Yes, really.
Well, I mean, if it was ongoing throughout the date, I would, be
because it wasn't ongoing. It was like that something happened and they're like, sorry, I gotta look at this real quick. And I'm like, cool. Look at your phone.
Too many filters for me. If all your pictures are all filtered, there's something.
But on the date, they're.
Well, that's just it. I'm not going to get to there. There's not going to be a date.
Exactly.
Because you're hiding something.
Right.
And
Totally.
And I'm not sure what it is, but you're hiding something.
Yes.
And then I would say one other one is if I don't know, there's something about, and again, these, I don't know if these are red flags or they are turnoffs, but if it's all selfies, if your profile is all selfies, I don't know.
Oh.
It just, to me, it feels forced. And
Selfies, like you're taking, that's right. That's what a selfie is. You're taking the picture of yourself, either of yourself or in the mirror. Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Like,
yeah. I never thought about that.
I'm not saying that you don't have a life or you don't have friends or you're not hanging out or you're not doing anything outside of that. But if you don't, like, give me something that has to do with your life that's going on out there that, maybe it's you with a picture with friends or too many a picture where it's like, I don't know which one is you. Like all your pictures are are with friends. And I'm like, which one is you? Some of them are nice enough to sit there and say, I'm the one that's on the right.
Right.
But I would say it's just a little bit of a turn off. Then I would say I'm gonna just like avoid this.
Right.
So does that make it a red flag? I don't necessarily know.
It's a turn off.
Yeah.
Red flag turn off.
So that's that. Again, this is me, and this is such a subjective aspect and topic because it's
because it's true. Everyone does have red flags. I'd I'd be like, I'm a walking red flag right now as I'm like going on a date because we all got shit, right?
Sure. I would say other things like if it's frequent drinking, frequent drug use, then I'm a little concerned.
Right.
It's not a judgment. I'm like, that's for me. That
totally.
Then we're gonna have some issue. There might be issues down the road.
Right. You're like aware of what that could mean, right?
Yeah. And it's not like coming from a place of judgment by any means.
Totally, because I'm the same way. But it's like to somebody else that might be a red flag.
Sure.
Like for sure. So it that's what I'm saying. It like depends who you are, what you're okay with.
And there's people out there that or go the opposite and like I don't drink, but I don't care if you do. All right, cool, that's awesome.
Right, that also happens.
So that's not a red flag. I think that's a good thing.
Right.
So, but again, it's subjective. I think it's different for men than it is for women, and I guarantee that we've also probably not covered a lot. What are red flags to us, and these are ours, but there's probably a zillion out there that we didn't even hit on.
I want to get to red flags on the date, but I think that's a whole other thing.
That's my experience because again, I think guys are a little more open to certain things, and so that's why, by all means, I mean, go to those because I'm a little more forgiving, I suppose. I haven't, or it's been so long. Yeah,
I see.
Or maybe I just don't have enough dates that I have to worry about that.
I don't know. I don't know that I had a lot. I know the main one that I knew is if they start complaining about online dating or dating in general. I'm always like, I'm like, I'm done. Because again, it's like are we ever going to meet? I'm like, you're being a baby. There's no coming back from that.
And you know what? I take that back. So if you're rude if you're on a date and you're rude to the service,
right?
There's an issue there. I'm like, don't be rude and don't be demanding and don't.
I agree with that one.
I think that's kind of a red flag for me, where it's just like,
You're also dumb because if you are like that, you should hide it for a while.
Sure, 100%.
Like, how do you not know how to hide it? But I get it. I'm not rude to the wait staff. I used to be on the wait staff.
Right.
So yeah.
So I would say on dates, that's one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
falling asleep at the table.
That's a definite red flag.
Yeah.
There's other things that they again, there's certain things that they may not like. Like I might like to. I'll walk you to the car. And so if they're not,
they don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, all right, that's fine, I suppose.
Right.
It's like it's not for everybody.
Some of these things are preferences, or like you say, turn-offs.
Yeah.
I think their preferences are things like you're looking at. Red flags are like, that is a no.
Yeah, it's a hard no.
That's a hard no.
But at the same time, it's like if you're like that now, and these are things that are about me that I do, that's going to be like I shouldn't have to adjust what my not mannerisms are, but
the preferences,
I don't even know if preferences is the right word, but these are things that I value in a relationship that, so if you're putting a stop to them, or you're saying that they're a turn off already, then I shouldn't have to change for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
to stop.
But what other ones on dates that are red flags for you? Since we're on that point.
I mean, we covered in one of the past episodes about like touching on the date. If it's like a first date and you're already trying to touch me and I haven't given you the body language that you should, that's a red flag. Because
what's body language that you should?
You have to be there. Yeah, like you have to, I don't know, you're kind of like facing each other. We're smiling, we're laughing, we're having a good time. Then you could do like an arm touch. But if someone just like, I've had someone like reach across the table and grab my hand and like hold it. And I was like, I was telling a story. What are you doing? Yeah.
So, but again, what are your red flags? If you've got any that we didn't touch on, leave a comment down below. Send us an email at mostcompatiblepodcast.com.
Yes, and email us your horror stories too.
We'd like those. We're like, we're gonna exit with this because one of our listeners did come into something. She just got to a point where she finally got on the apps. She was intrigued by what we talked. She'd never done it before, and she finally got on the apps. And the one thing that she touched on was, I don't know how to have a conversation. I don't know how to do that part.
Oh. Ooh, I want to talk to her so bad. Oh my God.
Do you guys have advice in that? I just pointed in my own camera. Do you guys have advice in this regard? How do you have your banter? How do you start those conversations? So send us an email on that as well. Maybe we'll cover that in the next episode.
Yes.
But until next time, in the meantime, keep swiping.
See you later.